Hi friends, this is Sarah from Crafting and Relaxing. Welcome. This is the fourth video in the process for the beach journal.
You missed a little bit because I was listening to a great song, and you can't put music into your videos on YouTube, and I couldn't shut it off. Mark Cohn walking in Memphis? Come on, you can't turn that off. Anyway, I just lifted the stuff up. I checked it. It seems okay. I cut us a piece of paper because this one is a tiny bit long, and see, it doesn't go in and out, and it's not wide enough. I think there might have been another one that was closer, but anyway, it didn't quite work. So I like this one, and I made sure that it has some of the tan and the blue showing. I'm happy with that. So I guess we can just leave that in there. Then I think it's time to stop dinking around and sew this sucker together. It is noon, and tomorrow the video is due out, and we're talking about going to Costco. So, you know, some errands, some real life. Oh, look at that. So think about how it was before and how this has moved over just as we've bulked it up, let alone when the person starts filling up their own journal, right? I mean, it could even end up like this. Could be like a behemoth. I was brainstorming a little bit about different things. I haven't decided for sure. If it seems like this won't hold, which by the way, it seems like it's going to hold, we could staple a charm right there and it would be adorable. Now, that might take me half an hour to find a nautical charm or a relevant charm to this project because I feel like a teacup isn't the one. So, I mean, I have a key. It's not the end of the world, but it wouldn't match the staple either. Well, that's cool. I don't know what that does. That's a cute one. That's an idea if we're worried about keeping it together. That might make a bit of a lump or bump in the long run here. And then for closure, I was thinking about a couple things. This has been, there's gunk back here. I hope it's just gunk, not a hole. Yeah, just gunk. This has been on my counter in a weird shape. So I think if we just laid it here for like a week and went like this, well, something a little longer, like a bigger stamp block, I think the cover would smooth out because, it's not a bad shape considering the fact that it was rolled up over there for, I think I got this the first time I went to Scraps KC. So I don't even know when that was, but years, right? Then that would flatten out. We could put a ribbon around it. I had a tie of fabric on the last one I did. I pondered briefly the idea of putting a ribbon or something through here. I was really apprehensive about cutting in here, and I wasn't sure how it would hold up in the long run. I only wanted to try so many new things at one time, so the pocket was my thing. And the pocket, I probably would have tried last time, but I think I had already cut the length I needed and not thought that through. Okay, so I'm happy with it. Let's get the stuff out. This is last call for how you want things laid out when you're putting a journal together, is when you start clipping it to sew it together. So let me give you an idea of what I'm talking about. These pages are taller than 8.5 because my cover was taller. So I had more flexibility than I do other times. So I get to decide right now where I want this tea-dyed piece of paper and how I want the vellum to be. I don't care if they're centered, but I want the vellum to cover the tea-dyed. I want it to go like that. I think for now we're going to take this off because it's going to make me crazy. We'll just put it right there. Who knows if I'll remember to do that. Then we go here. There's nothing. Oh, yep, this. We get to decide. I have it a little bit high right now because if I want this to be in the pocket, it will stick out. See that? I'm making that decision now. So I need to move it back down. We must have had it lower. Ooh, I like that better anyway. And we'll have to watch when we go to poke the holes. I'll show you that. We might have to jiggle things a little. Same here, but I'm happy with that. Okay, they're a little high. Anything that's kind of small like that, I want to be sure I don't lose track of it when I'm tapping and touching. I definitely do not want these two items to line up. That's just my personal preference. I want this layered cascading look. I like this one fine. I like this. This one, same thing. I don't want my 8.5s all crammed up there at the top. Let's bring them down a little. And let's put this tea-dyed messy one just a little lower. Oh, but we have our waves. Okay, we'll keep that one closer together. Keep those two together. Then this one. Okay, then this guy obviously needs to be just so. And this goes in here. If you don't make videos that you can go back through and figure out where stuff goes, or I'll probably mess up and use that for something else, you can mark them, you can put Post-its on them, you could lay them out on a table if you have the room, or you could not make anything to put in the pockets until the very end. However you want to do it. This is the part too where if I had sewed it together, there wouldn't be so much fiddly stuff right now. If I had sewed it together earlier, I mean, instead of starting to decorate it. But sometimes you sew it together and go, oh, you know what I should have done? And this way, you could have done it. This is not that hard, by the way. I'm just making it hard because I'm trying to show you. So you're on your own. I have lots of videos where I teach you how to sew a journal together. This won't be it, okay? But I'll keep you here in case I do something stupid and you could see it. How about that? I don't know. Or maybe we'll just edit this part out because it gets boring. Okay. And this one's heavy. Like, we've got a lot of stuff in here. It's a beast. Okay, now what we have to check is I was planning 3 holes. We just have to make sure that 9 inches, we have to be sure that I get 2 holes in everything as I'm gluing things together. Or some of my envelopes or whatever, I can glue them down. I'll show you. We'll just wing it. Okay, now this is tricky because it's not a cover that has a fold mark. Does that make sense? So it has to, I don't know how to explain it. I have to be sure I don't mess up. How about that? I've got to get that paper in the cover. There we go. And then be pretty clear about where the middle is and how this works. There we go. And I don't know what a smart way to do it is. I'm worried if I write on it. Now, let's do it. Let's do like 1 blue dot. Oops. Yeah, maybe not that big. That's what I was thinking. Okay. So we're kind of thinking like this. Right in there probably is where it needs to be sewed to. So if we're trying to lay things out and that's not lining up, we know we have a problem. Okay, this is my phone book. This is my super fancy book binding tool. It's harder to come by than you might think too. Phone books aren't exactly laying around everywhere these days. Okay, now here's what we're gonna do. Oh shoot, we're gonna thread the needle first, right? If you learn nothing from me, find the needle and thread it. I haven't even decided what thread I'm using either, so I'm really glad I didn't start poking holes. I have waxed linen thread. Ooh, this might be a good time. Let's use the cream, which I almost never use, but we should use it. I'm not going to put strings on the outside of this one. I'm going to put them on the inside. I just threw the needle on the floor. What does the barefoot crafter say again? Ow. I found it. I have a better needle than this. This needle's not going to work for wax linen. There's a lot of weird banging outside. I don't know what's going on. Oh, maybe Noni's getting a new roof on her gazebo. Sounds like someone's unloading a truck or something, so maybe that's what it is. Maybe those are her boards going clunk, clunk, clunk. Okay, so we have our thread. I want my ties on the inside. I want them in the pocket. And here we go. And you can stress about this all day long. You can think about it for hours, Or you can grab your pokey tool and you can go, that looks good, and poke. And it's pool liner, so it's wily. I mean, it's wily. That's the best way to describe it. And I only know that because this isn't my first pool liner. Now, I'm going to put this through here, get it through the hole, which is self-healing. Those little turkeys just close right up in pool liner. I swear, they make this stuff magic. Okay. I mean, I think pool liner was meant to be self-healing, right? Or to not damage. So it is a bear. Now, last time I made one of these, only poked 2 holes and then started sewing. And I know that because I watched the video. And it seemed like a smart idea. So I'm going to do that. That's why I'm doing it that way today. Now, already, I can barely, I mean, that hole is like a pinhole, not the giant hole that I made with an owl. I'm never going to get that word right. It's all right. Noni can keep making fun of me. Now, we might have an issue because look where that is compared to that, and this one didn't line up well. It's a little bit stretchy, wily, right? It's a little bit wily. Yeah, it's okay. I think when your cover's made out of rubber, you just got to roll with it. It is super warm in here now. I got to get the AC turned on so the wax is melting on the thread, and it's just not good. It's kind of hard to work with. Alexa, stop. So I think that was my second timer to clean my room, which I did not do at all. Well, I mean, I found a few things and then I got sidetracked. But my logic was, well, the sewing machine and all the cutters, I mean, everything's already out to make journals. So I should go for it. Okay, now I'm having some trouble getting back through the hole. There we go. I made it. All right. Okay. So the top part of the journal is pretty good. This waxed linen thread, honestly, it's a little lighter than, like, it would have been cooler if it was a little bit darker, you know, more like this, but I can live with it. Now, blue, had I gone with like blue embroidery floss or something, it would have hidden my crookedness a little better. Now, since I have 2 holes in there and things are tight, I'm going to take the clips off and I'm going to check a few things. Like, okay, oh, look, 2 holes, good. Good. That one was good. That one was good, good. It seems fairly tight and stable. Okay. Now I'm going to make sure that my needle and thread and everything are out of the way. It kind of helps me normally with paper if I fold it up a little bit. And then I'm just going to look and I'm going to go, well, that one was about there and that one was about there and that one's going to be right there. And I'm making sure that I can see that thing coming out the other side. And then I'm sticking that needle in there before it has time to heal itself. In theory, I didn't make it. It's the weirdest thing. Like, you could see the giant metal object poked through it. But if you don't get there quick, I could definitely be a sales rep for this pool liner product, couldn't I? Like, I have tested it. Look, pokey things. I told you. Watch out for those. Now, I can't see my needle anymore. I have no idea what's going on. There it is. Just got to get it back in there and make sure it's going through every page. You can actually miss a page if you're not like holding things together and stuff. That's why it's better if you don't take out the clips like I did. And you don't stop and think around and let everything shuffle. Okay, now, see how warm it is? The wax has literally melted it closed and sealed. Now, I wasn't watching the camera at all, so I don't know if you got to see. And if you didn't, well, I'll probably just edit it out. Okay, but overall, I don't think it went too bad. And we'll know in a minute. I'm just tightening the strings a little. Now, I'm not going to tie them yet. I'm going to tuck this up and prep as if I was just going to tie. And then I'm just going to flip. And I'm going to make sure, oh my gosh, it doesn't look too bad. It's a little crooked. See? That first punch got a little, I didn't have things tight enough when I pushed down probably. Looks good. I say we tie it and then turn on the AC. The sun came out. It was supposed to be hot here today, and then it just wasn't getting hot, and so I was taking advantage of it, had the door open, all that. Whew, that is over. Okay, I'm going to cut these. If you find after you do this that something is terribly wrong or upside down or whatever, well, you can redo it. I have redone it. Now, that is why I'm not going to glue this immediately, because then the only thing I will have lost is this pocket, because I'll have to tear it to get to the string. Well, I wouldn't have to tear it to get this one out. I could just snip it, but I would have to tear. I wouldn't be able to sew through it again like that. I'm not that talented. Okay, there we have a journal. Pretty cool, huh? Now, none of this stuff needs to be used again at any time during this process. So what I try and do, I know, who am I, is just tidy it all up right away, put it back in these little bags, put the needle back in the needle nest, and then I put it in my journal stitching bin. And I don't necessarily keep this stuff out because you can work on a journal, one journal, easily for 1 or 2 weeks. And this whole process is, what, 20 minutes of it? Now, I do keep a bunch of charms and other stuff in the journal making bin that never gets used because they're put in there. In fact, that might be where we could find a anchor or something. But it's still not a bad system to get some clutter out of my way. I don't know what I told you I was going to do, but I did a lot of stuff. The room's all nice and cooled down, but I did just turn off the AC, so I'm thinking this is just a quick wrap up. I got out this stamp. We got it out earlier. It's an old personal stamp exchange, and I love these. Listen, this one is past its prime. See the difference? It was probably stored somewhere hot, or maybe something was used on it that destroyed it. I did that once. There was a trend at some point, I don't know, it was like stick your stamp in embossing powder. How do you think that worked out for you? Get a big puddle of embossing powder hot and then put your stamp in it. That's kind of feel like, I'm kind of thinking that's what happened to this one. I don't know, but I did that one time. It was not a good idea. Don't try it. I am toying with the idea of using this. It sort of depends on if we need this piece of paper. Then I'll just put this in and leave it. But I tried it on some other stuff, and then I realized, wait a minute, this isn't me. And it isn't, you know, sometimes you can ink them up and they're old. They take a little bit more work. This one who sleeps under a quilt is comforted by love. It's not hard. But it does take a little bit of work to get it primed and inked up real good to make some images. So when I do that one, I do a bunch at a time. If you have a stamp like that, as far as I know, there's nothing you can do to bring it back. That one is done, past its prime. I have this, I tidied up a little bit and did some things. I put a sticker on our little folder. I inked the edges. I don't think I did anything earth-shattering in our book. The only thing I did here was I took it like this, I turned it over, let it sit there for a while. And look, it's already like way better as far as laying flat. I guess from a camera angle, you can't usually tell anyway, but it is, just trust me. Then I think we should put some of these things in it that I absolutely want to be sure I would use. And that's how I do it. I just kind of tidy and retidy, find peace within. I put it on one of our scraps. This could be a pocket, like a tiny pocket, or it could have gone on here. This is a very versatile item. And it might be cute if I tear the ends so they match the paper that it came to me on. It would be cute here. So we can decide, oh, does this one go in here? Yeah, okay, we're definitely using that. I don't remember, but I think that's what this is, huh? Yeah, so we're not going to throw it away because we need that piece of paper that size. That's kind of what I thought. I was like, I'm suspicious because there's nothing else that size. And you can see, like, some people might have just freaked out that it wasn't perfect and it would have, like, ruined their day. And it just doesn't do that for me. I'm looking for some scrap paper. Let's use this. I don't think we're going to use this anyway. Then what we're going to do here is we're just putting the stuff in. We're not going to overthink any of this. We kind of had a plan. We'll put the stuff together. If we realize we didn't put it where we thought we were going to put it, that's okay too. We just need to get this put together. And we're sort of on a timeline because Mr. Crafting and Relaxing is eating lunch, watching something, and then he's probably going to be thinking about getting ready to go. And with the AC off, it's going to get too hot in here. I don't know if you guys ever notice when I have the AC on, but it's one of those, I call them ductless, you might call them mini splits, and it's probably only like 6 feet from the phone. So when it's blowing a lot, you probably hear it. Oh, that's too cute. Now, I know we're thinking about putting a tab on there, but we haven't gotten that far. This is nice. I do like this, especially with this blue showing. But let's think about what journaling cards do we have that we want to see. Not this one. If we want to put this, find peace within, take me to the sea, dream higher than the sky and deeper than the ocean. Kind of like that. This green, we don't have any green in here. I'm throwing that over there. Let your dreams set sail. Good vibes happen on the tides. Dance with the waves, move with the sea. I like let your dreams set sail and find peace within. And I think we can use them together. Now, sometimes I make this a pocket too, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to glue this down flat. And I am going to tear the ends of this a little bit because I think that'll be cute to kind of accent how it came. Now, here's the funny thing. When you look at this, you're going to think, oh, she made that embellishment. No, remember, find peace within came to me and I added it to this. So tearing the ends like that and putting it on a piece of paper that goes with this is another example, kind of like inking all the edges of the paper the same, of how to tie something in that doesn't necessarily matchy-match all the stuff in your collection. It didn't even come from the same room, batch, or year. And I intentionally didn't do all the corners. I don't know. Just felt it. Sometimes I round them all and sometimes I round some. And since I'm going to put it kind of at an angle, I'm not going to make it a pocket. It's very shallow on this piece of paper anyway. So it would have just been, I don't know. I don't know the true definition of pocket versus tuck spot, but it would have been pretty close. More of a tuck spot because it might not have held much. Okay, kind of like that. All right, now we need to find somewhere cool to put this. We know the back part of this book is still really plain too, so sometimes I just go to the back as I'm starting to get tired or maybe run out of things. We're not running out of things, but whew, the temperature is rising already. This wall right here is the south wall, and I am arm's length from it. I can touch it. And there's nothing out there but cement and sun. Oops. Okay, I managed to glue that down before it's totally set. Okay, that's maybe enough. If we can't fix it totally, well, what do you know? There's going to be a pocket or a sticker there. Let's find a sticker right now. Let's find a nice sticker for this page. Most of these I don't want to use. Some of these are just boring and can go absolutely anywhere. So let's use up some of the totally plain ones. Too plain for there. These will stick fine probably, but journals just take more. We might want to put something on there. We'd probably put it farther down. Journals just take more beating than, oops, try not to smear glue all over everything, than a card, right? This is my official glue device. Cleans up excess glue. Okay, I don't want to use Family Cruise. I don't want to use this. I don't want this. I have a shell that I fussy cut that I thought we might want to use, and I'd probably rather use the shell that I cut than the sticker just because it's bigger. It's more interesting. Oh, I forgot to tell you about this. Okay, you can use it like this. It's a little tight to get things in and out of, so sometimes I cut the ends. This one has a pretty decent gap, so I'll probably just leave it. Let's go ahead and think about the shell. Now, when you see me make clusters, I layer all kinds of stuff together, right? Before I glue the shell down, I'm going to think, do I have something else here I want to put with it? Do I dance with the waves, move with the sea? Would be cute right here. And then I could put the shell across the bottom. I don't want to cover up the flap, and you can't tell, but it ends right there. I'm trying to figure out. The shell might actually be a little big for here because, oh, there we go. I can fit it that way. I need to be sure I keep it on the envelope, and I want to allow a tiny bit in case the person wants to just slice the end off right here and use it as a pocket this way, because I do that too. I like to do that. Let's make it a pocket that goes like this while we're at it. So we're going to go this way, and we're going to go this way. And then for fun, we're going to cut this one off. Now we're going to put it right here. Okay, so in theory, there we go. Oh, that is too cute. It says Forever Young. Dance with the waves, move with the sea. Do you see how I don't plan this stuff? I just pick things with colors and shapes I like, and I put them together. Now, if the person wanted to trim it off, it would move over enough, and they could still do that. In my experience, if I go through the book and stamp, 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 which sometimes they do, or sticker, 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 and I don't think of multiple things at once, such as big images and sentiment cards and that kind of thing all together, I just don't get as much interest as I'd like. But when I'm doing assembly line journals, you'll see me. I would have gotten out the stamp and gone, okay, I'm going to make sure this stamp appears once in at least each journal, bam, 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 down the line. You can still make them just as fun and busy that way. It's just different approaches. I don't really like those blues together. This feels good. It's ripply and messy and wonderful. This page has very little going on, and you're not likely to be able to write on it. Unless you wanted to write really tiny between those. I don't have that in me. So what if we... Whew. Do you think I can glue well enough to pull that one off? Let's try it. Sorry, I know you can't see very well. It's because there's just so much junk. So I'm just going to put a tiny bead, because if it oozes too wide, it's not going to work. And then I'm going to glue. Oh, and see what I did? I should have put it on the top flap because the top flap's a little shorter. That's okay. Got my fancy device right there. And I'm gluing this down with the bone folder, but honestly, I'm not pushing super hard because I don't want to move that glue very far. Okay, might work. We're going to let it dry before we go crazy and put the thing in it. And we're going to glue this at two corners just in case. Or to add more interest, I've got a lot of stuff on this counter that in my mind is going in this journal, and I just don't see how it's going to happen at this point. I want to be sure this doesn't stick out the top. If you want, oh, sorry, you're too zoomed. If you want things to stick out the top, that is fine. That is your call. Just put this a little higher if you want, and you can make it, you can literally decide how far things stick out the top. In journals where I have stuff stick out the top, which I do sometimes, I do more than one usually, so people know I meant it. Sometimes I have clips with ribbons. Give me an example. You know, one of those didn't just get away. I mean, that was an intentional mess. Okay, for right now, I'm going to leave that there, but I think it's going to fit in there perfect. I just don't want to end up gluing it in there. So loosely, we'll put it right there. This one is too cute. This one's actually a little tight. And the way to fix that, if it feels too tight, is to make it a tiny bit shorter. Because it's the length that's getting us. It just gives you a little more breathing room. You don't want the person to be frustrated trying to get stuff in and out there. That's nice. Just a little more roomy. Because it's a very tight spot. It's not like gusseted or anything. These are good. I could stamp on these. I could also, I've got some rickrack here that's kind of a gray. I was toying with the idea of doing, just so 3 pages don't stick together. There's more interest in texture. In fact, why don't we bust this open? It's kind of gray sea blue. I need better scissors. You probably never see these scissors. I got them at a garage sale, like in a cross-stitch kit thing. I don't know. I think the guy was just trying to clear stuff out. It was actually like an estate sale combo thing. And they are crazy sharp. I only use them on ribbon, threads, etc. Oh, there we go. That's good. Now, I should probably use Fabri-Tac on this. I don't know. You guys can tell me. Do you use art glitter glue or beacons on something like this? Is it super easy? Do you have great success? I don't know. But when it comes down to it, and I'm not sure the stuff's going to stay on the page, I usually go to beacons or Fabri-Tac. Now, the problem with my beacons is because I cut that giant hole in it, I am not certain that I could keep the glue on the back of the rickrack. And the problem with this one, which you might not even be zoomed in enough to know, it is coming out. It fights me. I mean, I'm not sure if it's sticky enough. I better check it. I better loop back and stick my finger in it. I mean, it's coming out, but it's not wet. Maybe this part will be. This part looks promising. I'm not even sure this is, I think this might be like glue that is, never ever do what I just did. Yeah, it's past its prime. Like it is a glue ball is what it is. Okay. I believe you can thin that with something and something and maybe rescue it. Oh, you know what I should do though? Is I should open that bottle up. I should take all this gunk out of it. I should let this bottle dry out the rest of the way. This giant bubble fountain of dried glue is coming out of it. I think because it's trying to fountain out and it's a hot room and it's like one big glue ball. I wonder if I could get that out of there. Let's stay focused. Let's glue this rickrack on because that's what we're supposed to be doing. I don't know if it's a great idea to mix these two glues, but part of me has a theory that they're pretty much the same. They just charge more for one. I mean, they're literally made by the same company. So I'm just going to hit parts of this. You do not need to touch every part of it. I don't care if some of the swirls on the page move a little. And I don't know if you've heard me say it before, but die cuts can't spell. And what that means to me is you don't have to put glue on every single letter. Like, you don't have to spell the word and script through it. You can just hit the edges. Now, one end of this I didn't cut as well, so I'm going to whoop-de around. And I don't even know if I want it super straight on the page. Also, there's a giant glue glob in a couple places. Good. Okay, now, do you have one of these? It's a pick-me-up stick. It's pretty good for glue globs. And then you get your fancy device here. You can, of course, use your metal die cutter, pokey tool, whatever you call it. This has a flat end or a pokey end, and I'm using the flat end, kind of like a glue shovel. And the metal item, you know, like the pokey tools, I usually end up damaging something or scratching something, and the plastic I don't. Okay, there. Is it going to show a little? Yep. Maybe not. Maybe we'll just rub it right off. There we go. There. Look at me. I cleaned it up. Okay. But it just added some interest. Now, what I probably should have done was cut it longer, let it go to the end of the page, and then cut it off. It does kind of bother me that that one's not flat. It's on that little tiny roll, so there's a lot of wrinkles in it. So I should probably open it up and hang it on the wall and not use it for 5 years like the things that are on the wall back there. Okay, good. Let your light shine. If we haven't used this, I want to be sure to use it. You can't really write on the back. This is so cute. I like how that turned out. Okay, now that we're stitched, this is where I look at stuff and go, okay, what should we do? We can round the corners. Makes it look a little bit more like we tried and we cared and we had a plan. See, that one didn't work. There we go. I didn't have it in there all the way. We can trim this one down and then glue it on. We can lick it and stick it just like that. I've done that before. Until we decide what we want to do here, I'm not going to do a thing. I haven't used any of these and I really want to use one. So what I'm doing is I'm just checking the colors. Okay, we got to rule this one out. It's nice and watery, but it seems kind of purpley. This one's pretty purple too. This blue one with the map is probably the best. I don't know. This one's kind of nice though too because it's lighter. It's like more in line with the others. Maybe right there. What are we going to do with this guy? Okay, you could write here. You're not going to write on this one. So let's make ourselves a quick corner pocket. You saw how exhausting that was. Not the stripe, right? Not that. That's too much on this page. How about this? Let's take a corner off of this. I like this paper, so if we already have scraps, I don't want to make scraps of it. And I don't think I'm going to do this one a double. I'm just going to make it a simple corner. And I don't know why that is. Okay. Stick this big card in it. Already has the shells on the back, so it's cute. And it's a little trickier to glue this far into the journal when you have lumpies and bumpies underneath. So if you want, you can put, like, sometimes I use my big stamp block. Maybe you have a piece of cardboard. Some people like make a matching page for it so they can write on it later. If I did that, I would just lose it. One time I used my Big Shot cutting mats underneath to prep. Don't get glue all over them. That sucks. I thought it would be super easy to clean off later. No, it was not a joy because they're not perfectly smooth and glue gets in all that little gunky mess. Okay, that's cute. I'm just going to leave that. It's a cute little thing, and you could staple something to it if you were journaling in this. Okay, now how about a sticker here? We could seashells, seashore, and take that off. Fun ahead. I would prefer that it pointed towards the journal, though, not away from it. Around the world, adventure. I like adventure. It doesn't have to be the best vacation or any of that. That's not really what I'm looking for. How about, ooh, my happy place. I like that. Might be too long. Oh, that's cute. Plus it has blue and blue. Okay, I like that one. If you want, you can ink the edges of these stamps, remember, or these stickers. Remember we talked about that? I'm gonna just stick that right there for now. Seashells, seashore. Let's see. I'm not into these like cartoon bubbly things. There. Let's put this right here. It brings in a little more brown, fills in a boring spot. It would be better to, if I had 3 items. Are you guys weird about that? Did we just get taught that and now we believe it? But I don't want necessarily 3 flat things that aren't touching each other either. Like I need, I don't know, a little something. What about these? These are travel-y and they're puffy and believe. I don't like the shape of that. When did we just start putting random numbers on things? I don't know, but I like foam puffy stickers, you know, and then it ties it together and I don't have that weird ridgy lump. Just makes me happier. Now, this is going to be a chunky monkey, so I'm not going to worry about a foam sticker. This journal was built to hold stuff. Now, we have this cute little, oh, here we go. Let's put this in here. Maybe we have a cute little beachy ride ticket. Sun is a little big. It's going to cover up because it has all the lines and everything. Yeah, that's okay. Also, if you wanted, you can always take your, well, let me show you. You could take your scissors, right, and cut it a little smaller. You could also cut the arrow off. Oh, it's crooked, by the way. You could also cut the arrow off the other end, but I kind of like the arrow. I just thought it was fun. It points to all this, so. Oh, this page needs something right because no one in their right mind is going to write messages on that. Now, this is just a piece of paper that was sitting around here. But we still have quite a few scraps here, so why don't we... This one's better. The other one was just too big to make a decent pocket. Why don't we make this a pocket? This is very scientific. Watch. People ask me how I decide what size things are. And then later they're like, well, what was the measurement of that? Well, I don't know. How much did we cut off of it before that we needed? Because that's how much was left. I don't have pockets are always made with a piece of paper X size or Y size. I look at it and go, yeah, that seems pretty good. Now I'm going to go in quite a bit to leave some room. I'm going to try and put it straight. I'm going to try and put it somewhat in the middle. It's a little lower than middle. And then this is my trick. I'm going to put it this way where it's flat and just go like this. You can use a Kleenex. You can use a Ziploc bag. You can use your hand. Just rub over the back of it. And then your pocket is ready. Now, I think we're getting down to, well, a giant mess on the counter. And, oh, here's some more. I wonder if this was supposed to be the one that went in the thing. Who knows? See? This is how I end up. It all works fine. But it looks like we do have an extra piece. So if, you know, the stamped on one is just driving you over the edge, you could leave me a comment unless we use that. Okay, I like the Take Me to the Sea, but there was another card that said that, so I had them clipped together because I was trying to be careful. The sea is calling and I must go. I love that. I have a tendency to make a pocket, a horizontal pocket, and stuff a bunch of cards in it. The problem with all of these is they're not journal cards. They're not ready to be written on the back. Had I moved this over a little bit, I might like this here. Ooh, I like it with this blue though. I got an idea. It's more fun anyway if your sentiments and stuff are different shapes. I have been known to cut, hey, we could do that. Let's see. I kind of like those wavies. It's a lot with this page though. Here, let's do this. I haven't been paying attention to if I had an oops and really checked to be sure we're not repeating the messages. Oh yeah, let's do that. Kind of simplified it a little. And since it's so narrow, I'm going to use the smaller corner rounder. See, this one's too wide for that spot. But now I've made sentiments in different shapes. And then it looks more interesting, not like, oh, the paper collection came with journaling cards. That's why I fussy cut around the top of this one. Also, I was trying to remind myself not to use the back because I already had something. I already had one of those sitting out here. Okay. Now, before we glue this down, let's think about it. Do we want to stamp shells? No, there's enough going on this page. I think I don't need any shells. But maybe there's something here I want. I like this guy. But then I would have like a weird pop of blue. Oh, what if he... oh, I don't like the blue on blue. Isn't that weird for me? It's just, eh. Oh, here, let's use this one. Just a little more interest. And if you're watching me thinking, oh, then it's going to be all bubbly and weird, just go like this. Take this, straighten this out a bit. Put a dot of glue here. This is a piece of sticker, so it is the same thickness as that stuff. And it'll support it better so it's not floppy. Yeah, I didn't cut it exactly the perfect size. I don't think the world will end. I don't think anyone will ever know. And I have seen lots of people take stickers, layer them up, and it looks great. Okay, now again, I'm going to flip it this way. That's how I'm going to get my pressure instead of bending up my page on all that cool stuff before. Or I could have used this and tucked it behind there. Now, what do we want to put in there? For now, let's round the corners on this and stick it in there because we're not going to let it go to waste. It's possible that this wasn't exactly where we intended it to be. Nope, I like the big shell. It might not show on camera, but I'm looking at the pattern on the paper and putting it in that way. Okay, and then our vellum. Vellum, you're probably going to staple to. We can also glue to. We haven't used a stapler at all. Did we already use this sentiment? I really like it. Let's check and see, and if we didn't, I'm going to staple it up there. We really don't have that many of the journaling cards in here. See, another way you can do it, I wouldn't do it the blue on blue, but you can staple one right here. Oh, this would be a good one. There's just so much going on this page. It'll be fun to like push it up another notch. I know some of you are probably watching like, you need to stop. Oh no, we're just getting started. Now, I said I was going to staple it, but I'm not. I'm just going to glue it. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go, it was about yay. The only trick is don't let the glue ooze out the back. So don't scooch it like this and then push it like this. Check it really well. Put it back. Put it on that, or, you know, I like to use the back of these sticker sheets because I don't care if I get glue on it and it's slick, but just be careful. If you do get glue on it, you have to clean it off or let it dry all the way before you use it for the next one. There we go. So we got another one of those in. Okay, now I'm supposed to be looking for Let Your Light Shine, but you can see how the front just keeps getting more and more decorated. Oh, we haven't finished that page. I think we should put this one here, and then we should put something cute in there that is much smaller. Take Me to the Sea. Maybe we don't want to use that one. The days pass happy wherever my ship sails. Okay. I'm cutting off the red and the edges that weren't trimmed right the first time. And then it does help too if it's a tight fit. When you round those corners, there's a bird on the back, so it's not really a journaling card, but it doesn't look bad. Okay, there. The days pass happily. You can pull it out and read the rest if you want, or you can just go with that. Let your dreams set sail. We could put another one there, but I would mix it up. I wouldn't want it decorated in the same exact shape. Like, I don't want to just take rectangles and glue them on every page. Or at least not rectangles the same size. Oh, that is kind of fun. I like how that turned out. Okay. Oops. I lost it. Here it is. Okay. Now, we can staple, and then staple all the way down here, and that just became a tuck spot. Okay, we don't have any paper that I would want to use for that. There. It's not so much that it needs paper or that you would need to provide paper if you were making this journal for a friend or selling it on Etsy, but by putting a piece of paper in there, someone knows, oh, that's a pocket. Okay, this guy is cute. Let's put him in here with this one. Like, make this double layer. The end doesn't really show, but when it gets pulled out, it does. It's not bad, too, because it has some green, and this page is one of very few that has green. Okay, so if it was me, you could also, like, I bet you could safety pin something to this page. This has stuff on the back, like tea dye, so you could write on it. There. Can write here, 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 here. I would write here. I would staple or write here, here. No. I'm not going to write on this page. Are you? You could actually write. You could take a marker and write over it. I think what I would rather do, though, let's see, is this tuck spot over here. Did we fill that one up? Where'd that go? This one. Oh. See? It's here a lot. Didn't I already put that one? I already put, that one I cut narrow and put over here. Nope. Well, it doesn't matter. Neither one of them is a decent journaling card on the back. I just like to make sure it's jam-packed and fun. And what's happening is the counter is getting cleaner and cleaner because we're using up the stuff I like. Okay, this I would write on. You could even write on the navy using a silver pen. It would be stunning. Okay, this page I don't think I'd write on. I think it's kind of boring here. So let's do something. We could make a pocket like this. then have it diagonal. We could, you're gonna have to keep track of me. Well, are you gonna write on this page even? I don't know. So I'm gonna turn this one into a pocket because I don't know that you're gonna write on that. You could, you absolutely without a doubt could, but I'm gonna decorate it and it's a pocket. And then I'm gonna leave it empty because it is a darn cute page. So I don't wanna cover it up. But if the owner wants to cover it up, they can, right? Okay, I think that one's good. Okay, we never even used this one. Let's put it in here. We didn't put anything, oh my gosh, we didn't put anything in the envelope. It barely fits too. Okay, there we go. Now, that's mocking, right? There's no rule that says you have to put anything in the envelope, okay? Then I like to have containers of the same size so that as things are getting tidied up, I just stack them. I actually like having a lot of things the same size and shape. I thought I was going to use these. I don't know why the glazed pen's actually in there. I didn't think I was going to use that. I did think I would use that. We used one of these, so I'm good with that. There was a nautical, there were a couple of these that were a nautical theme, so my brain is like, oh, that's nautical. No, it's really not. But it's fun with throw off the bow lines. See, the front page gets more and more full because I'm just adding stuff that I see. Now this page is just, it's dull, like over here. But none of these, if these were single-sided, these would be great because they would be journaling. But when you buy those collection packs and they're double-sided, you have to think about how are you going to bring that in. I'm not going to use that. The red's not right. I can't handle that. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave this stuff just the way it is. Oh, I was thinking about this. Might be like a cool bookmark divider page thing. I don't know. I didn't get that far. I'm going to leave this the way it is. I'm going to go get ready to go. And then I'm going to come back to this because what I find is when you walk away and then you come back a couple hours later, maybe you look at it differently or you realize what you missed. And then I'll know if it needs anything else. I think the front part probably needs me to stop. Oh, except for this, right? I mean, if nothing else, we've got to take out those little scraps. And then I think the back probably needs a little something, but I'm worried about gluing in. It's not as bad when you're just shoving them in pockets, but I don't want to glue in the same message again. And then I think it's about ready to film the actual project video. So I don't think you're going to see anything else except the Joy of Blue video that this will appear in. So this is completely out of sequence because you'll see it done and then you'll be able to watch the process video. But I think this is the last bit that you get to see as process. So thank you so much for watching. I think we pretty much did start to finish except for a few times when I didn't have the camera on. You know, Mark Cohn, you can't turn off Walkin' in Memphis. If you don't know that song, you should probably listen to it. Thanks for watching. I hope you're taking great care of yourselves. Bye-bye.